In this lesson, we will cover modeling piping and adding pipe fittings and accessories. When modeling pipe, you can use the pipe tool or you can use an existing pipe connector in the model. For this example, we'll route 4 pipe mains from the mechanical room through the corridor and place some branches as well. And we'll take a look at some of the challenges that can arise when modeling piping. On the Systems ribbon, in the Plumbing and Piping panel, click Pipe. The first thing you should do is select the correct type in the type selector. We'll use the standard pipe type for this example. Next, in the Properties palette, scroll down to the Mechanical section, and then you can see the System Type parameter. When modeling piping, it's important that you select the correct system type, especially when you're modeling mains and branches. We'll select Heating Hot Water Supply. Then, in the Options bar, you can set the diameter and the middle elevation. If you'd rather work off of the bottom or the top elevation, you can control those parameters in the Properties palette. The middle elevation is also there as well. I'll change the bottom elevation to 10 feet. When I do, you can see that the middle and top elevations update accordingly. I'll move the cursor into the mechanical room and click to place the starting point of the pipe segment. I can then move the cursor in any direction. I'll move the cursor down and then click in this corridor and move the cursor at a 90-degree angle and click again. When I do, you can see that an elbow was automatically placed. For the most part, I prefer working and modeling pipe segments and having Revit place the fittings automatically. Only in special circumstances will you place pipe fittings first. Next, I'll reduce the diameter and then place the pipe to the end of the corridor. You can press Escape once to end the current pipe run and keep the pipe tool active. Or you can press Escape twice to end the command altogether, or click Modify to end the command. I will create a branch here and we'll take a look at some of the challenges that it provides when using parallel pipes. I'm going to adjust a couple of these parameters here. I'll select Heating Hot Water Return. I'll change the middle elevation, and the diameter here is 4 inches. And so in some cases you may start the pipe tool and you may have 5 or 6 piping systems modeled, and you just want to connect to an existing pipe segment and you want to match that size, elevation, and system. Now you could select Inherit Elevation, Inherit Size, double check the system, but if you want to do it quickly, simply click to snap to an existing pipe segment and then press the space bar. And what that's going to do is it's going to update the system type to match, and then it'll inherit the elevation and the size, and then you can place a pipe segment. Then I'll click Modify to end the command. Now, if we want to create the heating hot water return and then the condenser water supply and return, we can use the Parallel Pipes tool. So, on the Systems ribbon, in the Plumbing and Piping panel, click Parallel Pipes. When you do, the contextual ribbon will update with options for your parallel pipes. Set the horizontal number to 4 and then the horizontal offset to 6 inches. At this point, when you hover over a pipe, you can see an outline for the other parallel pipes. In this case, there are 3 additional because I chose it to be 4 total. Now typically you press Tab and Revit will highlight the rest of the run. In this case we have a branch here. It branches off in 2 directions, and so Revit is unsure of what to do. And so if you have a situation like this, what I recommend is to delete the connection. So in this case we have a T, and then reconnect the main, and then activate your parallel pipes tool, press tab, and then create the parallel pipes for the mains, and then do the same thing for the branches. And then you can use trim and extend to connect those. So in this case, we won't go through the process of connecting those, but we could use the modify and on the modify ribbon and trim extend single element, and we could connect those up. In this case, we'd either want to be tapping off of the top, and so we'd want to adjust the elevation of those. But what I want to point out next is you need to change the system type, and that can also provide some issues here. So in this case, they are all heating hot water supply, and in this case I'd want to change it to return for this one, but when I do, you can see that it changes all of them. And so sometimes Revit, it thinks they're all on the same system, but in this case we need them all to be on different systems. And one way that we can go about fixing that is hovering over a pipe, pressing tab until it highlights the system, and then clicking to select the system. And you can see now we have the piping system selected, and I'm going to delete it. When I do that, they all become undefined. So the system type is now undefined. And now I need to create a pipe of the correct system and connect it to each main in order for it to pick up the correct system. So I can select a pipe and right-click the connector on the end and select Draw Pipe. And then I can, in this case, I have heating hot water supply, and I'm going to change the middle elevation to 0 because I want to place a drop here. And then now it's heating hot water supply. Since the tool is active, I'm going to change the system type to heating hot water return. And when I hover over the endpoint of the pipe, you can see a round snap, and that means that I'm connecting to a pipe connector. And then middle elevation 0 and click apply, and now I have a heating hot water supply pipe, heating hot water return. And now I will do condenser water supply, and we'll do the same thing. And then lastly, condenser water return. So if you're in a situation where your piping systems get crossed up and Revit's trying to put them all together, you can delete the piping system for all the pipes and then connect piping to it of the correct system, and that pipe, all the connected pipe, will take on the correct system. Lastly, if you want to place pipe accessories or even pipe fittings, there are associated tools on the Systems ribbon in the Plumbing and Piping panel. I'll click Pipe Accessory, and then I'll expand the type selector, and I will select a 4-inch motor control valve, and I'll hover over each pipe, and when I click, I can place that motor control valve in the piping. Now I obviously need a little more room here because I'm hitting the adjacent pipe, and so I need to make some adjustments to my spacing. But you can see that the pipe accessory is being placed in the pipe, and it's taking on the correct system that we placed it in.